Wagwan people, how you doing? I'm going to do a little story about the Cedars pub, and this was in 2005, 2004, 2005. I'd say 2005. Yeah, it was a couple of years after Paul Warnock's death. Paul's mum, Amanda, his sister Amanda, and Paul's mum Dawn had moved out of the pub. And basically some South African guy had taken over it. And it was a weekday and I wasn't working. This was just after Wicks. So I'd been working for Wicks. And so I'll start off with Wicks actually, because this is where it leads on to the Gypsy Wake and how working at Wicks saved me. So this is what happened, right? So I used to work at Wicks, and like most of the people that worked at Wicks, when a family member come in and brought something, say like bags of sand, you'd get your Stanley blade or your safety knife, sorry, and you'd slice the bag a little bit just so it got damaged, and then you had to sell it to your family for a little bit cheaper. We all did it, it was trying to help out family to get cheaper stuff, like discount and all that sort of thing, So, living in Hazelmere, on the rise, we used to have the Cash family. They were an Irish gypsy family, but they lived in a house. And they were a big family, very big family. There was a lot of Cashes in the area and out of the area. And so his name was Johnny Jr., Johnny Cash Jr., yeah? He used to come into Wicks, and he knew me because I was from Hazelmere. And he used to come in and he'd say, I want 3 bags of sand, John. So I'd go over and just split the bags, and then I'd put a price on there. Instead of it being £2.50 a bag, let's say, it'd be £1.20 because the bag had a hole in. And I did this quite a few times for this travelling family, and I'm glad I did, and I'll tell you why. So around 2005, 2005, let's say, I was with my mum. I was walking to the Park Parade shops, and the Cedars pub was still there then, you see. So I'm walking past the Cedars pub, and as I walked past the Cedars pub, I looked in. Now, after Dawn and Amanda left that pub, the pub was dead, always dead. There was maybe me in there having a pint, and that was about it. So this particular day, I walked past, and it was heaving. I mean, it was literally like, anyone would think it was a Friday night, not a flipping Wednesday afternoon. So the place was heaving. Like literally, there was like 100 people in there. It was loud, and I was like, flipping hell. So me being me, I had a tenner in my pocket, and this was back when a pint cost you what, £3, £2.80 for a pint. So for a tenner, that's 3 pints. Tenner now, it's gonna get you 1, maybe 2, yeah, but probably just 1, because it's like some places are over like around £6 mark, aren't they? But anyway, so I've gone into the pub and I've sat down, ordered my pint, Carlsberg, sat there drinking. There's all these people around me, yeah. I had my Burberry hat on. Burberry was a fashion thing back then. Everyone had Burberry, yeah? Hats, jackets. It's just something that everyone wore back then. So anyway, I'm sat in there having my pint, and then all of a sudden, I'm watching these kids. The mum's going over to one end of the bar and speaking to the barman or bar girl, and the kids are going under the other side and they're grabbing the drinks and the crisps from the other side of the bar, while the bar people are being distracted by the mother or the father. And I was like thinking, oh my god, this is a bit weird. Like, parents don't normally let this sort of thing happen. Then I started listening to the conversations around me, and all I can hear was, I heard one kid say, Dad, I need some butter to my gun. Yeah, like proper deep, like Irish travelling accent. And I'm like, oh my days, I'm in a gypsy wake. Now, all of a sudden, this bloke comes up to me, grabs my hat, takes it off my head, puts it on his wife's head, and I'm just like, I need to drink my pint and get the hell out of it as quick as possible. So I'm like, just smile at these people, like, quickly drink your pint, John, you've got to get out of here. You are in the wrong place at the wrong time. Luckily, by the grace of God, well, not luckily for the family, because, so the Cashes, the guy I used to give the sandbags to that I used to split for him, so he'd get them cheaper, his dad had passed away and it was his wake in the pub. That's what was going on in there. So this guy's taken my hat. His wife's like, no, give it back to the country boy, give it back to the country boy. Yeah, and I'm just stood there like, oh my God, like, this isn't good, I'm going to get hurt. Like, all of a sudden, Johnny Cash Jr. has walked over and said, hey, this is my friend, don't disrespect my friend, da 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 da. Yeah, starts like saying, and then I'm just stood there like, cheers Johnny, like, thank you mate, like, because I'm telling you, if I wouldn't have known Johnny, like, these guys probably would have torn me apart. I'm a country boy at a gypsy wake, for Christ's sake. Anyway, so Johnny's taken the hat off of the woman. Well, that's it, because the woman tried to give it back to me, but when she gave it back to me, the husband took it back off me and put it back on her head. It's like he wanted it and he was trying to rob it off me, but, like, do you know what I mean? I wasn't going to try and take it off his wife's head, could you imagine? So anyway, Johnny's come over, said, leave him alone, he's my mate, da-da-da-da. And then he's turned around and he said, here you go, mate. He says, it's my dad's wake. He said to me, John, it's my dad's wake. He says, just get out of here, yeah, because it's going to get a bit messy in it. And I was like, thank you so much, Johnny, thank you so much. And I literally ran out. And then that day, so I've gone back home, and I told my dad, there's just all travellers down there. There's just loads of them in that pub, yeah. They were stood on the balcony with the pool balls, yeah, from the pool table. They were throwing them at the cars as they were going by. They shoved the bar towels down the toilet, then used the toilet, then flushed the fin, so it flooded all the bathrooms. The women did that, the men did that. There was syringes and all kinds of stuff. There was guys stood outside the pub, yeah, with these gold chains. I was informed later on that some of these guys were like hitmen. The sort of guys that, you pay money to and they go make someone disappear. I was walking down to go and see my mate who lived above the shops at the time, and as I walked towards the steps, the police pulled up next to me and said, have you got any ID? And I pulled out my provisional driving licence, and basically they thought I was a traveller and trying to break into the flats above the shops. The travellers had gone down to the shops with their parents while the wait was on, because the Cedars pub was next to the Park Parade, and they've just gone into every single shop and they've just robbed every single shop, literally. But this is the thing in it with Irish travellers. They give themselves a bad name when they do things like this, but I must admit, I think a lot of it was the alcohol, because they drank the pub dry. And then when they ran out of alcohol, that's when they started getting nasty, because they wanted more alcohol. So then they just started going robbing the shops for it, and just like getting the kids to go down and take whatever they want. And they're not going to stop their kids. They don't. I mean, no one's going to stop their kids. The police couldn't even stop them. A lot of houses got robbed that day around here. Garden furniture out of the garden, stuff like that. But yeah, that was my experience with travellers. But luckily, like I said, I knew the family, the Cash family. Johnny Cash, I don't know if he'd be seeing this, but loved you, mate. I haven't seen you for a long time. But yeah, it's mental time in my life. That was a mental day. I literally thought I was going to be kidnapped and put in a dog cage and then fed pedigree chum for the rest of my life. It was quite anxious time, that was, because obviously, like I said, these guys were in there. They were getting battered. They were there for trouble. When Irish travellers drink a lot, they get very rowdy, and they love to have a scrap and just things like that. So yeah, it was quite worrying. But I come out of there alive, and it's all because I knew the main traveller. It was his dad that had passed away. So thank God for that. I'll tell you that, when I was in there and I was listening to them all talk, Dad, I need some bullets for my gun, and da-da-da, my heart's just, and I'm just like, oh my God, what am I doing in here? I need to get out. Anyway, people, that was just a quick story about the travellers, the gypsy wake down in Hazelmere, Cedars pub, back in 2004, 2005. Peace, people. Much love to you all, and carry on watching my podcasts, and carry on subscribing, and carry on liking, and carry on commenting. all the people out there that love and support me. Like I keep saying, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate this. My tooth's alright at the minute, but I'm waiting for it to kick off. I know it's going to get painful. You can kind of feel it building up. But there you go. It is what it is. Peeps. Peace, love, and I'll see you guys all soon.